to the Washington, D.C. Social Security Office of Disability Adjudication and Review. Please review all options before making a selection. Press or say 1 now if you know your party's extension. If you are calling regarding information, please dial your party's extension now. Calling 23950. You have reached the mailbox for 141223950. Please record your message after the tone.
Yes, my name is Joseph Crisaya. My phone number is 240-475-7737, and my social number is 220-04-7626. I had called your office a few days ago. I was trying to get information about my hearing. I had sent a big envelope, a package, to have the information on file prior to the hearing, and also to get subpoenas issued. And this was done more than a month ago, and the confirmation delivery is there that your office received it. So what happened is your office decided not to place the information into the file, and that's a malicious act. You were supposed to put my information into the file. So when you start with that act, it's kind of hard to really come to your office for a hearing when you are not willing to give me a lawful hearing. You're supposed to give me not just something where I show up and you call it a hearing. I'm supposed to get my due process rights. And so when you had requested that I send in any additional information and evidence, and you also requested that I send in subpoena requests, all of which I did. And you only requested that I send it in 5 days prior, but just to play it safe, I just made sure I sent it like a full month prior. And still your office decided to just take and toss everything away. And then when I called your office to ask information, using the same phone number that you gave me, the person who sits at the desk, who is not a mere receptionist, she actually, does a lot of work for the case, and it was her job to, even if there were a mistake and you did not receive the information I sent your office, then she should have offered a continuance, whereas I can send the file in, and it would still be your fault, not my fault, because it does show that your office had received it. But she could have given me a continuance. Now, first of all, that individual and you, neither one of you have given me your full names. Okay, so that's one point. And so I should have gotten an offer of a continuance.
Seconds of record time remaining. Please continue recording your message after the beep. Washington, D.C. Social Security Office of Disability Adjudication and Review. Please view all options before making a selection. Press or say 1 now. Please dial your party's extension now. Calling 23950. You have reached the mailbox for 141223950. Please record your message after the tone.
Okay, just picking up where I left off, and I'm not going to send you anything in writing since a whatever I do send in, you just toss out and say you haven't received it. So I'll just have it recorded and make sure I do have a recording of what I did. And so now I know it wasn't a mistake that it wasn't input into the system. Your office maliciously did not want to give me a fair hearing. And so when I called this person who was sitting at the front desk, I guess, she didn't give her full name, but she's really not a front desk person. She actually works on the cases itself. And I think her main job is kind of to sit and to give continuances and to work on the hearings, because you have attorneys who call you all the time with having something else going on, and they just want a new hearing date, and that person does it all the time. Or someone sends something in and the information is not there in time, whatever. It happens all the time, usually, but in this case, it wasn't the one who sent it whose fault it was. It's your office who didn't do it. But still, in other cases, like the attorney would call it and they would just say they need more time because they have to gather another medical record. And your office would say, sure, okay, let's give you a 2-month continuance. In fact, I had been to your office for an earlier hearing with another case with Judge Larry Banks, and I didn't have an attorney with me. So Judge Banks just very clearly goes, well, if you want a 2-month continuance, you can have that so that you can get an attorney. So I think a continuance is freely given in your office. But this person deliberately did not want to offer me a continuance. And even if at the beginning your office keeps sending me notices that you haven't received my confirmation that I'm going to show for the hearing, your office was supposed to actually make a phone call to me to check and see if I am going to show up for the hearing. Your office never called to verify if I'm going to show up for the hearing. And so the time when I called your office to check if you received my package, that was my phone call asking about that issue. But your person who answered the phone immediately switched the call over, the subject matter over to it being of me confirming if I'm showing up for the hearing. Well, I called in to check if...
Record time remaining. Please continue recording your message after the beep. Washington, D.C. Social Security Office of Disability Adjudication and Review. Please review all options before making a selection. Press or say 1 now if you know your party's extension. Please dial your party's extension now. Calling 23950. You have reached the mailbox for 141222395. Please record your message after the tone.
Okay, well, this is part 3. And so, when she received, and she should have offered me a hearing, a continuance. But what she said is, in fact, she never even asked me, are you coming for the hearing or to confirm? She goes, you're coming for the hearing, right? 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 What does that mean? You are coming for the hearing, right? You're coming for a hearing, right? It's not a question. It's an affirmative statement putting words into my mouth. You're coming for the hearing, right? What does that mean? And I did not call to confirm whether I'm coming for the hearing, or I did not call to give her a chance to ask me if I'm coming for the hearing. I called to ask what happened to my evidence that I sent in and my subpoena request. So I don't want to hear, you're coming for the hearing, right? So what she wants me to do is, so we know there's no mistake anywhere along the line. She wants me to come for the hearing. without any of my information which is supposed to be there and any of the subpoenas, and then at the hearing you can just say, well, you didn't provide this information, and there goes my hearing down the drain. I'm not going to let my hearing go down the drain, okay? So it's not going to be a case where I'm going to appeal down to some district court down the road as a standard Social Security case. I'm going to make sure I have you down for a civil rights violation, okay? And what you did is you used your government power to deprive me of my due process in a Social Security hearing. And it's not an issue of something which can be reviewed as a standard typical Social Security case. Okay, you made an error. You didn't make any error. You made a deliberate act, okay? Because I was injured by criminal acts, and the same people who injured me, right? So we were going to evaluate those matters at the hearing, right? We were going to have a hearing, and some of these people would show up with subpoenas, and some of the doctors would show up, and your own people, your Dr. Najjar and Dr. Jerry Friedman, who are your doctors, okay, assigned by Social Security. And we were going to ask them, what's going on? Is this right, what I'm saying? Can you evaluate the evidence? So those were the subpoenas, some of the subpoenas, and those were the facts issued.
Record time remaining. Please continue recording your message after